we're going to go 23 through 35 or something like that here. All right, anyways, just like we did in the last one, in number 22, I need to simplify the cube root of 48, cube root of 2058, and the cube root of 162. So when I simplify the cube root of 48, I have an 8 and a 6, so that leads me to believe that 6 times something is probably 2058, maybe. In this case, it was 343, so I'm looking for something to the third power. 7 to the third was that 343. So if I do 343 times 6, that would give me the 2058. So I have a 7 on the outside, 6 left on the inside. Cube root of 162 will break down to 27 times 6 is the biggest cube that I can pull out of this one. So that's 3. Cube root of 6. 8 was 2. Cube root of 6. So 2 plus 7 is 9. Minus 3 is 6. So I have my solution as 6 cube root of 6. For 24, make sure that you guys distribute everything to everything. So I need to multiply negative 6 times 2, that gives me the negative 12. Negative 6 times root 3, that gives me negative 6 root 3. Negative root 3 times 2 is negative 2 root 3. And negative root 3 times root 3 is just minus 3. Because essentially that makes negative root 9. So this was minus root 9, square root of 9 is 3, so just minus 3. Then it's just a matter of combining like terms. So negative 12 and negative 3 together make negative 15. Negative 6 minus 2 is negative 8. Cora is wanting to get in here. She wants to come do some math with us. I'm not going to let her in. I'm a bad dad. All right, here, again, kind of like we had with that one earlier that we were multiplying something squared, don't forget that it is this thing times itself. So you need to distribute everything to everything. So that's what I did here. Combine like terms, you have your solution. Something like this, like 26, 64 to the 1/3. Yeah, there's ways of doing it, and I taught you how to do it, but if you have a calculator, I didn't mean to write that. You can do 64 raised to the 1 divided by 3 in your calculator so that that 1/3 stays in our exponent. That'll give you 4 as a solution. Just like you can do 32, hit the exponent button, 3 divided by 5, make sure that stays in the parentheses, and it will raise it to the exponent. You'll come out with 8. Just like here, 28. It'll give you like 0.001 something, I think, which is 1 over 243. So you can check it as you go, even if it doesn't have the decimal thing. All right, with 29, there's no way of doing it other than just knowing how to do it. So all this is, though, is just distributing. So negative 4 times negative 3 is 12. X squared and x squared together make x to the 4th. Negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. X squared and x to the 3rd make x to the 5th. So when it says standard form, all it's talking about is raising or doing the exponents in descending order. So 5, 4, we would have 3, 2, 1, 0 if we had anything else. But that's all it's looking for standard form. All right, next one. Number 5, 1/2. You guys, again, if you have a calculator, you can check this thing really easy. Just type in 1 over 2 x to the 3rd, and you can check it in your calculator. You will see that it looks something like B. That's our only option here. This is going to be how your exam looks. So please, please, please make good use of your calculator. Make good use of having multiple choice. Just like in this one. 2 times x minus 1 to the 3rd minus 4. I mean, you can remember that this moves right 1 and down 4. That'll be super useful going forward for sure. But I know with my calculator as well, right 1 down 4, it's raising at a cubic, so it's going up by 2. You are good with C. Yay, happy day. Check it in your calculator, moral of the story. All right, here, distribute the positives. So there's not really anything that will change any of those signs, so just combine like terms. So I have negative 9 and 4x make negative 5x. Negative 2y and negative 4y make negative 6y together. Negative 9z and 2z make negative 7z together. Here, same thing. We would distribute anything we had in front, but since we just have plus signs, I'm not really distributing anything, so just combine your like terms, you'll come out with this. Here, the only thing that we had is this was a minus sign right there, as you can see on your paper. So I distributed the negatives such that I had negative x to the 4th, minus 9, and minus 6xy. Same thing here. So negative times negative made that plus y cubed, minus 7, minus 7xy. Be careful. Make sure you combine like terms. Make sure you combine xy with xy. That's how I'm coming up with negative 13xy. Make sure you do x to the 4th and x to the 4th. That's how I came up with 6x to the 4th. Negative 7y cubed and plus y cubed is minus 6y cubed. Just pay attention to what your terms are. All right, 35 requires a little bit of work because you need to distribute there to there to there. So that's where those first 3 came from. And then I distributed the negative 6p to all 3. So that's where those came from. And then I distributed the negative 5 to all 3. And that's where those came from. So it's just multiplying everything to everything, taking your time, making sure you're checking the exponents and the numbers, and then just combining like terms whenever you are done at the end there. All right. Yeah, I'm going to keep going. It still hasn't been long. So the next one, which expression results in the area? I would tell you that the area is the height times base 1. I would give you that formula. I don't expect you to remember it from geometry. Because I don't think geometry gave it to you. So you have the height, which is x minus 1 times base 1 plus base 2. So base 1 plus base 2. So I added those together. And then I distributed and combined like terms to come out with that as my answer. All right. Write the polynomial in factored form. So here I notice I can take out a 4 and an x. They're in common with all of my terms. So I factored out a 4x. That left me with x squared minus 7x plus 10. And then I factored that all out. 38. Notice they all have an x in common. So factor out an x. And that will save yourself some time. Then you'll come out with this, which factors nicely as that. Cool. What are the linear quadratic factors of the expression? So notice here, I factored out a 3 first. They're both divisible by 3. And then this, you're going to have to remember, is the same thing as x cubed plus 2 to the third. So this is our special factoring cases of the sum of cubes. And it'll factor as x plus 2 times the first thing squared minus both of them multiplied, so 2 times x, plus the second thing squared. So now the linear factors, 3 and x plus 2. 3 makes a line if it were to be by itself. X plus 2 makes a line if it were to be by itself. Quadratic, it would make a quadratic if it were by itself. Just pay attention to exponents and all that good stuff as you guys are going through this stuff, please. Use factoring by grouping to factor this polynomial. So factoring by grouping, again, was looking at just the two terms at a time. So if I factor out an x squared, it leaves me with x minus 2 with those first two terms. And then I can factor out a negative 9, and it also leaves me with x minus 2 in those two terms. So now, since they're both being multiplied by x minus 2, I can factor it out of x squared minus 9. So I have x squared minus 9 times x minus 2. X squared minus 9 will factor as x plus 3 and x minus 3. And then I still have the x minus 2 on there, so that is how I'm getting to C as the answer. All right, the next video I'm going to be looking at 41 through further.